Hello and welcome to yet another Learn Sanskrit video. This is the second exercise video for lesson 6. On the screen here you can see here that I have some PDF files up and running here, and these are available by download from the description link. And these look like this. You have one exercise B1 there, and then you have the B2 coming on the next page. Looks like this, 6 sentences on each page, and similarly you have another PDF to download if you want, and that is this answers to exercises. And here I have all the lines here are having also the assignment simultaneously, so to speak. So you get 4 lines in each answer, and that way you can easier see, compare word by word the whole process. Okay, so that's so you can download those from the description. So let's see if I can move this over here to my other monitor. So now let's go to the exercises here, which I will do manually here on the page. And if you don't want to download the PDFs, you can also hand copy my pages here. So I have 4 sheets here, or 4 screens you can do, and I'll show them 5 seconds each. So I'll start with, and the reason is you can stop the video 4 times and then you can do your exercises yourself, or try to do them yourself before you look at the answer. So 5 seconds on the first B1 here now. 5 seconds on B1 number 2. And 5 seconds on B2 number 1. And 5 seconds on the last B2 here. Okay, so let's start solving these. So what do we have? We have aham nayami tvam cha pibasi. So let's start transliteration here. Aham nayami, long ah, nayami, tvam cha pibasi. Semicolon there. And this in eswo here, English with Sanskrit word order. I, pronoun aham, nayami, I am doing something, ami, and I'm nayati, I'm doing the leading. I lead. And then tvam, you, pronoun tvam, yes, and cha, you have and, conjunction and also indeclinable, of course. And then you have pibasi, so which is a form of pibati, and it's the you singular, drink, you drink something. And here on the eswo line, since we're dealing with the cha and conjunctions, we are going to specify which one this is. So let's see here. We have aham nayami tvam cha pibasi. Oh, this is a clause and. So we put a C, and then we will see on the English line here, when I do this, I'll write this as I lead and you drink, like that. And so here we see that this is clause 1 and, oh sorry, I should have and this is clause, clause 2 here, down here. And the rule is always that we put the and after the first word of the second clause. So if you see on the eswo line now that you and have switched order here, and that's, so this and here on the English line then is a, I could have written C here like that also, but I don't do it because I want to use as few indexes as possible. If we really need it, then we could have done it, but the reason is, of course, here that if I were to retranslate this sentence, I mean, the whole philosophy here is that whatever we get on the English line, we are going to use, we have to be able to produce the exact same syntax in the Sanskrit. And if I really needed that C, I would have put it there, but we don't need that C, because you must be good enough to understand that I lead on the English line is a clause 1, and then you drink is clause 2. And if we have two clauses that are connected by either and or, then those will always be placed right after the first word in the second clause. So there's no oh, I should have, well, I can redo that. I should have so there's no cause for any we don't want to be too mathematical, too many symbols. We want to use the minimum. So I'm a minimalist in that sense. Alright, so let's go on. But the main point here is that on the eswo line, whatever you do on the English line, on the eswo line you always want to do that for conjunctions. So whether it's an and C or a or B that you have there, it should actually stand there. It should actually, right, you should write it, not just know it, but write it. Okay, so sentence number 2. Let's transliterate a little bit here. Vayam smaramaha yuyam va gacchata. So pronoun vayam, so we all, smarati in a form that fits with vayam, so we all remember. And then we have yuyam, which is you all. And then we have va here, and it's or, and we have gachata here. And and gachata fits with you all, so it's you all go. And then the question is, what or is this then? Well, it's actually another clause type of conjunction. So when we go to our English line, we all remember, or you all go. Right, and we once again we don't have to put any C on the or here on the English line, because there is only one way to produce the eswo here, or the Sanskrit. Okay, but we of course we can, just for clarity's sake, do something like this. And we also see here, as usual, what we usually do is that we take the pronoun from eswo line and use it on the English line, and then we don't use the implicit subject in the verb. So we just take that part there. And similarly here then, like that. Well, like that. Okay, number 3. Saha vasati sa cha bodhati. Okay, so we transliterate saha vasati. Sa cha bodhati. And so he, the pronoun saha, pre, he, so vasati, he dwells, he lives, and she and bodhati, he dwells. Well, I should have done like this, of course. He dwells. I have to have my implicit subject in the verb as well, on the eswo line at least. He dwells, she and she dwells. So then our finishing line here is he dwells and she dwells. Oh, not dwells, sorry. She knows, of course. Sorry. I'm dwelling myself here. Or I'm making mistakes, but we can fix that. She knows. Okay. She knows. Okay. And then once more we have a C syntax here for and. That looks good. Okay, so that's done. First one of 4, 25% done. Now we have patasi, va, dhavati, va. And what will that be? So it's something with patati, with something falling. We don't have any subjects, so we take our we just have a verb here, you fall. We have our implicit subject in the verb, so we take that. You fall, or, and then we have dhavati. So it's about the running, and we shall say he runs. Our default subject there is he, if we don't have any explicit pronoun to go with it. And then another or, and now we have 2 or. So now we know that something, we know that it's not a sentence, or it's not a clause connector here. We're not linking, we can see that also, of course, but so we're linking words, we're linking 2 verbs. So we have 1 or for each one. So we're looking at the B syntax here. Okay, and then our result is on the English. Okay, I'll just put eswo here. And on the English line we get you, but we don't have any explicit subject, so we bracket it. You fall, or he runs. And then here we must put our B there. Why? Because otherwise we cannot retranslate and get the same syntax. So so when you have an English sentence like this, of course you can make another English line and you know, you just write you fall without parentheses, without without the indexes and like that, just a simple, like you would read in a book, but the challenge is do the first English line here, this line here, retranslatable. That's the goal of this. So we understand the syntax, so we understand what we're doing, so we have complete control over the process. All right, so now let's take number 5. Saha, sa, Sidati. And we have Saha is he, Sa is she, Wa is or, and then we have Sidati. The question is here, how should we read this sentence? We should read this as an A here, or A, because it's connecting the pronouns here, and it's just one or. So it's connecting the pronouns, so it says he or she, and then comes the sitting in the verb there. So we can write sits. So it's or, it's not an and. So we are just like in so in English you say he or she sits. So it's the same form as if you are saying he sits or she sits. So it's singular in the verb, and similarly in the Sanskrit it's also singular. So something sits here, but how should we talk about that on the eswo line here? How should we? Because now we cannot say he sits, and we cannot say she sits. So what should we say? Because it applies to both. Maybe it applies. I mean, it's an or statement. So what I'm doing here, I'm doing a more general. This is the general translation of verbs. One sits. One sits. And which one? Someone sits. And who is that someone? It's either he or she. So that's how I go around this situation. So then we get our English line, he or she sits. And of course, as always, we have this our subjects anyway, so our pronouns to the left here, so we don't need the one anyway, but it's just for clarification. Okay, good. And then because we have an A syntax, we don't write an A on the English line, because we only have one or, and that the only way to produce one or is to use the A syntax. So that's number 5. Number 6, te gachanti, sa cha kadati. And okay, so what we do with that, it's the pronoun te. Okay, so they all masculine, and they are going, they all go. And then we have she, sa, and then comes an and then kadati, which refers to sa. So she eats. So here we then have a clause connector, clause conjunction, which will produce the following English. They all, masculine, they all go, and she eats. And we don't need any C on the "and" on the English line. So let me check there with number 6. They all go, and she eats. Looking good. Okay, we are halfway through, and on sheet number 3, starting the B2, where we are going the other way, we're starting with the English. I eat and he drinks, and we have index A. And I'm not doing this in this video explicitly, just to illustrate. And then you should recognize how I write this, and you should understand that when we have 2 verbs here only, these are not clauses, even though it may look like that. But we have the parentheses around the words, so they are not individual pronouns. They are only the implicit subject that is already in the verb. So that's what I'm saying here. The parentheses signal don't use pronouns. Okay, so now we go on to actually do this. So we clarify the verb by doing that, and then we clarify the other verb, he drinks, and then we put the "and" at the very end, as syntax A recommends, or it's not a recommendation, it's the fact, right? So it's not, so that this is syntax A. I eat, he drinks, and here I always put out number A, whether or not this first A up here is pronounced at all. Okay, and I let's see here, I eat, then, so we have kadati, but now it's first person singular, kadami, and he drinks, pibati, and then we just have a cha here, and we're done with that line. And then we just render it up, kadami, and pibati, and then cha. So let's go on to number 2 then. We all fall and you all run. And we don't have any indication here, but we should here we should see that we are using pronouns. because we don't have any parentheses. So this is C1 and C2. So that gives us syntax C, where we put the and over here after the first word in the second clause. And you all represents one word in Sanskrit, so that's what we're doing. So let's do that then. Oh, whoops. So on the eswo line then, we eswo, so we all, and then the verb, we all fall, and then the next pronoun, you all, and then only we do the and then comes the run. Oh no, here comes the you all run. You all run. That, and then we specify this as a C here, clause connector, clause conjunction. Okay, and then what we do vayam here, and we all are falling, so it's patati, but patamaha goes well with vayam, and you all, yuyam cha, and then the form for running here, so dhavati, but we need second person plural, dhavata, like that. Okay, and then we do it in Devanagari here. Vayam patama yuyam cha and dhavata, like that, or something like that. Okay, good. Number 3 here, he or she remembers. And here we see that I have an explicit be, and that means that we are requesting two or at least more than one or, because we can have many. If we have 3 terms that we want to bind together or link together, then we would need 3 ors, or 4 terms, 4 ors, etc. So what we do here is that first we talk about this simple question: what are we linking here? What is the or doing? Well, it links 2 pronouns. So it's just the words. So it fits with syntax B. Syntax B is only for words that we're grouping together. So he, missing the whole point here. He or she or and then we use this form again here, one remembers, because we are, since we have or instead of and, we do not add them. 1 plus 1 is 2 if we have the conjunction and, but when we're using or, we use only singular, so it just becomes singular. But then since we have a choice here, we cannot write either he or she, so we write one remembers. Okay, and then we clarify our conjunctions here with like that. And then we do translate eswo line here, or transliteration here, and so wa, sa, wa, and then one remembers, so smarati. And we do it in Devanagari here. So we get that complete with the lonely S there. Like that. Sa, wa, smarati. Okay. So then the eswo line, just quickly here. So then, since the conjunction is enclitic, it always hangs together with the previous word, which in this case is a pronoun. Okay, so let's go to the last screen here, last sheet. Okay, so number 4. They all abandon, and it sees. So let's see, what is this doing? This is a clause here, clause 1 and clause 2. And this is also the reason why there is no index on and here, because we must be able to identify that it is a clause connector just from the English syntax here. So we have to look at how the words in the English are arranged as well. Okay, so in eswo then, eswo, so they all, F representing a feminine pronoun, they all abandon. And then of course we have to have our and after the first word in the second clause there, so we have to flip it and then we have to continue with a verb last here, like that. And we are specifying this as a C type of and clause type, and then we just start transliterating here. Te, they all f te. No, it's not te. I was thinking of they all am here, but it's not. Okay, so they all f is taha. Okay, okay, and then they all abandon, so we have tyajati, but which form? It's third person plural, not singular, so we have to tyajanti. And then we have our it, tat, and then comes and, cha, and then comes it sees, so we are pashati. Works well. Third person singular. And so then we get taha, jajanti, tat, cha, pashati. All right, good. So now the number 5, you all go or I lead. And here again we should see that this is a clause, you all go or I lead. Because this you all will be a pronoun, and I will be a pronoun. So it's a pronoun and a verb. A pronoun and a verb. So that's what's going on. So we'll render it on our eswo as you all for the pronoun, and then you all go for the verb. And then we have to switch the order of or and I as usual. So I have the I there and the or there, and then the verb I lead. And I also clarify here with the C for the or. So index C for the or. Or meaning clause syntax. Okay, and we are so you all, so youum, and then you all go, so we have gachati, but we have to use the proper ending here for second person plural, gachatu, and aham, wa, and I'm leading nayati, but I need first person instead, so nayami. And so then we just write it out here in the Devanagari here, Yuyam. Gotcha. Ta. Aham. Wa. Nayami. Okay, and to the last one here, they all am and I run. And here we have to okay, so once more then I have a superfluous A here, because you should be able to figure out here that the and is connecting the pronouns. So there's no other, it's not a clause here. And the A here is giving it away already, so it's not a clause. So but anyway, so we can now do our eswo. They all am, and we switch I and we give it an A anyway, and I run. Okay, and our translit here will be they all am. Now we have the te. Okay, te. Aham. Cha. And I'm running Dhavati, but for first person, Dhawami. Like that. Oh, not that, on that line. Semicolon on that line. Okay. Oh no, it's not Dhawami. Okay, so it's not, okay, right. I was thinking right, okay. So we have to do Dhawamaha here. The plural form, because they all am are plural. So we already three or more. But then it's also I, right? So let's say that te is 3 and I am 1, so that we're 4. So that's plural. But then we can ask the question, why Dhawamaha instead of third person? Why first person instead of third person? Because since I am one of the 4, that always takes precedence. So just as in English we say they and I, we run, right? So it's the we run there. So this line up here is also wrong here. I have to correct this. So I should have done this earlier. But so everything must fit together. Okay, so we all run. That's what we want to say here. Te aham cha dhawamaha. And similarly, if one of the persons here, let's say I switched out the I here, then I would and instead I would have you, and then that would be you all run. So if one of the persons is you, they, and you, then it becomes you all. And if it's they and I, it becomes we all. And if it were like if we would have you and I, it would become we two, and he and you would become you two. So that's one thing to think about there. Then when we are combining, when we're having multiple subjects, considering as pronouns, when we have different pronouns, different persons, one pronoun in third person and one pronoun in another person. Okay, so Devanagari here, te, aham, cha, and dhavamaha. Okay. I think that is all for now, and we have done the exercises for lesson 6, and I now wish to invite you to lesson 7. So I'll see you next time, and I'm hoping that you will also that you had a good time here, and that you will have a great day ahead of you. So see you next time. Bye bye.